Imagine a world where every 15 years, God decides it's time to shake things up, big time. He unleashes millions of crazy, terrifying monsters to thin out the human crowd. People tried to fight back once, but these creatures, way too strong. The only option left was to hide and pray. Our story kicks off with a wild tale about the first so-called Judgment Day. Picture this. Out of nowhere, hordes of monsters burst up from the ground. Regular old mines turned into Nightmare Central. They tore through millions of people, smashed cities to bits, and sparked a full-on war. Humanity eventually wiped them out, thank goodness, and built these massive protective gates over the old mine shafts to keep the beasts from coming back. Fast forward 15 years. The world's patched itself up a little, and we meet Laura, a school worker who's one of the lucky survivors. She's got this guy Milton buzzing around her like a hopeful puppy, asking her out all the time. She keeps saying no, probably because she's still mad at her ex-husband, Dave. See, Dave wasn't around when Judgment Day hit, leaving pregnant Laura to fend for herself. They've got a 15-year-old son, Tyler, who's always off at the skate park with his buddies and his girlfriend, Maddie. When he's not there, he's glued to video games. Poor kid's basically a ping-pong ball between his parents, who split right after he was born. Now, things start getting tense. An eclipse is coming. You know, that creepy moment when the sun goes dark, and it's a bad sign, maybe a monster invasion warning. The ground's rumbling more than usual, the folks at the protective domes are freaking out with emergency checks, and the news? It's grim. Fish are dying off in droves, just like before the first Judgment Day. Birds and animals are bolting in weird patterns. Yep, it's all feeling way too familiar. Tyler's chilling at his dad's place for the weekend when the phone rings. It's Dave's old pal Ted, sounding dead serious. He's convinced tomorrow's the next Judgment Day and begs Dave to grab the family and hightail it to his desert shelter before the eclipse hits. Meanwhile, under one of those protective domes, a monster sneaks out, creeping up the stairs like a shadow. Laura's on the phone with Dave too, freaking out after catching the news. She demands he bring Tyler to her, Milton's got a shelter spot lined up, and she's sure it's their only shot. Dave's all, "Relax, I'm his dad, he's fine with me." But while they're arguing, Tyler gets a text, reads it, and slips out of the house unnoticed. Laura's losing it. Dave's place isn't safe. He's got to get Tyler to her now. Dave caves, heads to Tyler's room, empty. Milton's rushing Laura. The shelter's filling up fast. She's panicking because Tyler's gone AWOL. Milton tracks the kid's phone and finds him at the skate park with Maddie, who's a mess. Her parents ditch town, leaving her alone and terrified. Tyler swears he won't abandon her like his dad did to his mom. Suddenly, a freaky bird screech cuts through the air. Huge flocks are flying off in one direction. People at the park start running. Chaos explodes, and Dave's stuck in a monster traffic jam on his way to find Tyler. He ditches the car and sprints toward the park. Under the dome, a worker's checking gauges when he hears rustling. Then bam, a monster leaps out and rips him apart. Soldiers nearby open fire, but their bullets? Useless against this thing? Tyler and Maddie are watching the panic unfold when Dave finally shows up. Tyler explains Maddie's got nowhere to go, so he stayed with her. Laura rolls up with Milton, scoops everyone into the car, and they race to the shelter. It's a madhouse, traffic jams everywhere, less than an hour till the eclipse. They make it to the shelter, but the military's blocking it, only women and kids allowed in. Dave tells Tyler to look after Laura and sends them inside while he and Milton stay in the crowd. Tyler starts toward the shelter but doubles back to his dad yelling, "He's my father, I'm not leaving him." Laura and Maddie chase after him. The shelter's scoreboard flashes no more room. They bolt to the car. Dave suggests Ted's desert hideout. Milton pushes for the school's basement nearby. Another traffic jam hits, cars clogging the road. They ditch the vehicle as an earthquake rumbles, and the eclipse kicks off. Monsters start pouring out from under the dome, swarming the city. Dave says they've got to get out. City's a death trap. Milton argues it's his car, he's driving, and they tussle. Then a flying monster snatches Milton, yanking him skyward. Laura screams, Dave shoves her into the car, and they peel out. Driving along a canal, Dave tries to calm Tyler and Maddie. "We're good, we'll make it." Gas runs low, so Dave spots some abandoned cars ahead. He hops into one, finds an old guy hiding in the back. A massive, bloody, bull-like monster skeleton stomps by, chowing on a corpse. It doesn't spot them. Dave eases the car back to Laura and the kids, but now they've got to switch rides. The bull notices them. The old guy jumps out, tosses salt from a jar at the beast. It freezes. Laura, Tyler, and Maddie scramble to the new car. The bull charges the old guy, tearing him apart, but Dave floors it and they escape. Monsters flood the city as Dave drives up a mountain road to Ted's bunker, a solid concrete hideout with cameras. They bang on the door, no answer. Inside, Ted's at a monitor, a gun to his neck, someone behind him. Monsters charge the bunker. Dave grabs a tire iron, ready to fight. When the door swings open, they dive in. Dave hugs Ted, who's there with his wife Stella, and a quiet military guy, Corporal Garrett Jensen. Monitors show monsters battering the door. Maddie asks how the creatures track them. Garrett smirks. Light, heat, maybe our souls. Devils spawn, gods too. They eat flesh, but crave souls. Laura asks if he's religious. Today, yeah, he says. Garrett shares how he survived the first Judgment Day at a refinery, hiding in salty mud the monsters avoided, listening as they slaughtered his co-workers. He's deep in his story when Ted signals Dave to grab a knife. Dave does it quietly. A centipede-like monster slips through a window vent. Garrett volunteers for first watch. Ted gives Dave a look. Garrett pulls a gun, making Dave drop the knife. He admits Stella let him in over Ted's objections. He'll survive again, whatever it takes. Tyler lunges for the gun, gets thrown off. Dave calms Garrett down, but the centipede attacks Stella. Ted rips it off, salts it. Dave grabs Garrett's gun and shoots. More monsters burst in, they fight him off. They tie Garrett up, try to save Stella. A huge bull monster shows up outside, slamming the door. Dave says they've got to leave. Ted resists. Stella won't make it, but she begs him to go via an underground tunnel to the mountains. Garrett pleads to come. He's got a fueled car and knows a safe gate. They reluctantly agree. Arming up from Ted's stash, they flee as the bull smashes closer. In the tunnel, Stella weakens. Laura snaps at Dave. They could have been in the shelter. Tyler spots a dead monster. Maddie gets too close, and tentacles yank her legs. She screams, "Tyler and Dave save her." Garrett's untied to help. They reach the mountaintop, see the city burning below. The car won't start as monsters charge down. Stella, dying, grabs Ted's gun and walks toward the horde, sacrificing herself. Ted sobs, but Dave drags him into the car. They speed off just in time. A radio crackles. Most shelters are gone. Laura touches Dave's shoulder. He holds her hand. At the gate, it's deserted but open. Garrett says the bunker's below. They head in, needing power. Dave and Garrett fix it while the others hunt for a medkit. Ted's hurt. Power's back, but monsters roar nearby. Garrett suggests a chemical warehouse with tough doors. A monster attacks him. Dave helps kill it, but more come. Garrett bolts, locks himself in, injects something. His veins turn black. Dave returns to the family, plans to flood salt water through pipes to block the monsters. Laura kisses him. Be careful. Crawling through vents, Dave dodges a feeding monster, opens a tap, salt water flows. The beast chases him. He salts it, and it dissolves. The family's cornered. Tyler fires back. Dave yells over a speaker to hit the fire alarm. Ted charges the monsters with an axe, gets swarmed. Tyler's out of bullets, flips the alarm. Salt water sprays, shredding the monsters. Ted's gone. The eclipse ends. Monsters retreat. Outside, Garrett's waiting, shoots Tyler. Not our world anymore. Laura shields him. Dave bashes Garrett with an extinguisher. A giant monster grabs Garrett, swallowing him slow. In the med unit, they mix salt in a canister. The monster storms in. Dave hurls it, exploding the beast into ash. Laura and Dave embrace. Stunned they're alive. Outside, the world's wrecked, but the monsters are gone, for now. Life will fight back, and light always wins. That's the tale. Drop your movie ideas in the comments. I'd love to spin them next time. Catch you later.